What up, everyone? Welcome to a new episode of the SoleSavy podcast. We just SoleSavy released our first 100% custom sneakers, so it's an exciting time, and I'm even more excited to have another footwear designer joining us on the podcast. Chris Hill, how you doing, man?
Good. How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. As I was looking through your profile and your bio, the first thought that came to mind to me was, "Damn, that must have been a ton of fun. Everything you've worked on." But I'll let you introduce yourself first and tell the people a little bit about what you do, what you've done, and then we'll chat about it.
All right. Well, my name's Chris Hill. I'm a footwear designer. I've been in the industry for 10 years. Worked with anybody from athletes like basketball players, or UFC fighters, movie studios, toy brands, streetwear brands, fashion designers. So it's been a lot of fun. Been doing my dream job for a while now, which is, awesome to be able to say that.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, it's been a good ride.
absolutely. Let's start there. Your dream job. How did you get to becoming a footwear designer? I think a lot of people don't see that as a career path. Did you grow up just doodling sneakers and you were like, this is what I want to do, or did you stumble upon it as you grew older?
Well, I grew up drawing. My dad was an artist, and my mom did more like craft type stuff, more like hands-on stuff. And my dad was the artist in the family.
Nice.
So I grew up drawing because of that. Um, and kind of drew through middle school and into high school. Didn't know that sneaker design was a real thing at all. Started drawing shoes just because I like shoes so much. And kind of just went through school like that and not knowing there was something out there. Went to college, went to community college, and went for graphic design because that's what I was told
Nice.
in high school you needed to do to become a footwear designer, which my high school teacher, looking
Uh,
back at it, didn't know anything at all
yeah.
about footwear design. She just, I think, guessed.
Yeah.
So I went for graphic design. Then from there, I went to school. And actually, during that time, I should say, I was customizing clothes and sneakers. So that kind of helped get
Cool.
me. I wouldn't say that helped get me into it, but it kind of gave me a little bit of practice on, designing a little bit. Um, so I was doing that during college the whole time. Then from there, I went to University of Northern Iowa, and I went there for fashion design. Um, and because that's what I was told at that point was for sneaker design, which also was not true. That was just not for me. I got kicked out of school. So my grades were so bad. I did everything except for go to school. So that didn't work out too well, but took a break for some years, just worked. Then I don't remember how I figured this out, but I eventually figured out was you need to go to school for industrial design, for footwear design.
Yep.
So I was living in Cincinnati at the time, and figured that out. So I ended up moving to Portland because of the time my girlfriend, who's now my wife, really loved Portland, and I knew Nike and Adidas were in Portland. So I
Yep.
was like, okay, I'll move out there. I'll be closer to the people who do the stuff, and maybe I can try to get in somehow. So I came out here to Portland, where I'm at now, um, and ended up deciding just to go back to school after I did some research and figured it out. So I went to Art Institute for school. Uh,
Nice.
yeah, I got my bachelor's of science in industrial design, and very soon after I started school, I got an internship designing shoes and product. And kind of from there, started to blossom more. And I went from there to Adidas, and then Adidas to Reebok. And now I'm doing freelance design for Universal Studios. And I'm actually starting a job at an ETW job at Jordan.
So let's talk about that. What is a footwear designer's role and job? You mentioned a bunch of companies that you worked with, and even looking at it here: Sony, Warner Brothers, Kendrick, Jown, Palace, Bape, et cetera, et cetera. When you enter a project or a room, whatever, or Zoom room the past 2 years, whatever it might be, what is your role going into that?
Well, it varies. So I mean, it can vary the type of footwear design you are, because not everybody's going to design everything. Like there are people who just do color, people who just do graphics,
Sure.
who just do footwear. So I guess I can speak to like what my role is, and
Yeah.
then my role, and my role varies as well. So like in the past, like there's been times where we'll meet with an account or a partner, and you kind of get an idea of what they want to do. Like a streetwear partner has more ideas and tends to be more hands-on and wants to design more, so that I might
Yeah.
be more like a facilitator, or just kind of help guide them through things or give them advice, or more of a little bit smaller role in that sense. Otherwise, stuff with like the toy companies, the movie studios, or the rappers, the guys who aren't as maybe creative or as know what to do with a shoe, um, then that's kind of my job to kind of hear what they're thinking. If they have any
Mhm.
thoughts, it's my job to present back to them what my thoughts are on what I think could be cool for this project. And then it's up to me then to actually design everything from that point, and kind of come up with a concept and the color, like I said, colors, materials, graphics, all that stuff. Do the packaging as well. Um,
Nice.
so yeah, start to finish, it's kind of my job to come up with the, like I said, the concept and the design and finish it out and come up with all the textures and materials and colors and all that.
How long does it take you to get from, the start to, hey, we've got the finalized design, we're gonna start making some samples of this?
Well, probably easier just to break it down by phase, not even
Sure.
kind of like, go backwards, but design phase, we only have maybe a few weeks to a month at most to design stuff. So you don't get a lot of
Okay.
time. And that's a collection of like maybe 8 to 10 shoes or something like that. And there's apparel in
Mhm.
there. I don't do the apparel, but that apparel is also part of that process. So we'll work with that team and make sure our stuff is cohesive. So that's like I said, a few weeks to a month, and then you send off samples, and then you have to tech pack in that time period as well. So you might have like a week to tech pack everything, and then you send it
And
off to the factory.
yeah, and for everyone who's not aware, what is a tech pack?
Tech pack is basically when you take your designs and then it's a technical package. So it's you're telling the factory what materials to use, what color to make those materials. If there's a graphic on it, where that graphic is placed. If
Right.
it's a new shoe, you'd have like cross sections and possibly 3D parts and everything like that to kind of show how the shoe goes together. So you're explaining in as simplest form to the factory how to make a shoe.
So for you, what has been your favorite project to work on personally?
Um, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Jurassic Park was a lot of fun. Power Rangers was a lot of fun because we built the boxes to where if you bought all 6 shoes, you could build a like 4 foot tall Megazord. That was a lot of fun to work
Nice.
on. I really liked the Piermos Mobius, the Experiment Twos or Experiment 2 or 3. I don't remember which one it was. I think maybe Experiment 3. Um, those were a lot of fun because that was an entirely new upper. That was part of like the iconic Mobius line, like the Big Hurt, the Shacknosis, stuff like that, which I'm a huge fan of. So that was a lot of fun. But I think for me, it's more so I'm more so remembering like just the process and the people I worked with. So like for
Yep.
me, either Hasbro or Universal Studios was probably the most fun, just as far as like working with them, or like when I would work with the movie studios, like we would get to go to the movie studio itself and actually look around the offices, go to the back lot and see like
Nice.
you know, all the stuff out there where they shoot movies and the touristy stuff. So like that to me was probably sticks out as the most fun project, just because that part of it was, different. So with that, we
Hmm.
did that with like Jurassic Park. We went to London, and I can't think of the name of the studio offhand, but it's a really big studio in London, that we got to go to and like look at props and stuff like that, and look at sketches and renderings of the dinosaurs and things like that ahead of time, and got to like hear the whole script read to it. Well, actually, we read the script, got to meet the director. So stuff like that kind of
Nice.
sticks out to me as like the most fun project, just because of those things that we did, versus the shoe itself.
We're going to wrap the podcast. I appreciate you for taking some time out of your day to chat with us and give people some insight into what it's like to create footwear collaborations with different brands, different creators. From your experiences, obviously been in the industry for a while, and we'll hopefully do a follow up with you once you've gotten your feet a little wet in your new digs.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks, Chris.